Yo, it's your boy Casual with the Silent A podcast. And man, we're back with another one. And a quick one at that. Hit that like, comment below, subscribe if you got the time, man. We appreciate that loving for this. Let's get straight into it because I really don't know how to really kick this thing off the right way and be respectful. So let's just get into it, right? Let's just break it down. Open it piece by piece. Are the built-in excuses starting to come? Are the built-in excuses and ways around and the potential duck in play? Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, Jai Opetaia. That was supposed to be the next cruiserweight fight, the unified fight to see who's the baddest man in the cruiserweight division. No disrespect to Badu Jack. I know he's got the other belt. But these two men is what we've been clamoring for. That's what we've been looking for. That's what the sport of boxing wants. That's even what Turkey Out Sheet Ring Magazine. That's what all of boxing wants. Casuals, hardcores, promoters, you name it. Jai Opetaia handled business early June. And Gilberto Ramirez did all right in his fight. You know, he handled business, boxed smart, got his done, beat Dorticos. Jai snapped the jaw of Claudio, my man from Italy. Supposed to be next, right? Signed, sealed, delivered. Only to find out over the weekend, July 19th time frame anyways. Same time that Manny Pacquiao was getting robbed and Daniel Dynamite the Bar was getting knocked out by Usyk, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez took the opportunity to have some long-time shoulder surgery after his fight, about a week or so after. Never complained about it before, but apparently it's been something that's been going on. It was really aggravated throughout his fight with Dorticos. And now we've got shoulder surgery. Shoulder surgery at a time when the books are clear for him and Jai. Perfect timing. The timing is now. If you watched our past video on this, we did a perfect breakdown of where we are at now. This is the perfect timing. Real men fight now. Real men fight here. That's our breakdown. And everything is aligned, signed, sealed, delivered, and everybody wanted that fight, including both fighters stating such a case. So you see why I'm wrestling with the respect factor here, because I hate to call a man a duck, and I'm sure the surgery is real. But as we found out in sports throughout time frames, there's been certain surgeries done that were just preemptive or just picked out to do. Yeah, you could hold on to it. Yeah, there's something there, but it's not cause for surgery, but they go ahead and get the surgery anyway to quote unquote just be at their top or avoid certain situations. This has happened in the past. Even if the surgery was needed, it was told that you really don't need it right now. You can get it down the road. You can do your thing, but only for the fighter and promoters and companies to say, no, you go ahead and get that right now. So right now, you're telling me this was the perfect time for shoulder surgery. Okay, I got it. Good. What I fear now, and this is where the ducking comes in and the built-in excuses come in, is this was the timing to start negotiating the fight, as we all thought was going to happen here in the July, early August, get that fight negotiated for the end of this year. Jai Opetaia, Gilberto Ramirez, and now we have shoulder surgery. So obviously he's got to recover. We don't know how invasive it was, but that's going to take a few weeks, 6 to 8 weeks for a type of shoulder surgery. Ask the likes of Manny Pacquiao, anybody's had any type of shoulder surgery or rotator cuff issue. So that's 6 to 8 weeks. Then you got to walk into, back to sparring and lifting and everything, right? And here comes the excuse. Well, now you want to test it out. You want to see where you are. I want to take another warm up in between. Now you're putting off Jai Opetaia. Another fight in between this. And on one end, it's a built-in mechanism. Like, okay, I get it. You had surgery. My guess. You're due a tune-up. Test it out. But now you want Jai to wait even longer. We were heading into about a year plus that we've been waiting for this fight. Or let's say Gilberto signed, sealed, delivered, gets this thing going by the end of the year. That's what we really want, right? And if he loses, which many do believe, I do pick Jai to beat him regardless, shoulder or no shoulder. A built-in excuse to why he lost. No matter when the fight happens, even if it's after a tune-up. Oh, my shoulder was damaged. I just find it interesting for a man that's never had this come up. And y'all can tell me to shut up. But for a man that's never had this come up, ever, it's never really been mentioned, like barely. Definitely not as a major issue. It wasn't even announced during the fight or after the fight. In fact, he had time to do face-offs with the likes of, what's my man's name? I can't remember the damn Jake Paul. Fake face-offs with him and partying. Never came up until they slip it in during a big fight weekend and got some surgery done. Apparently it's been an issue. Now it's an issue. But hey, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just being too pessimistic. Maybe the surgery is real. I'm sure it is. No one really fakes a surgery. But the actual need for said surgery is where I question. Either way, the timing is still right. The timing is still here. Real men fight here. If you're not going to be a real man and fight the biggest men in your division, then move out of the way. And if we can't get that fight by the end of the year, worst case, early 2026, Ja, we've seen this happen before. Certain men are willing to fight. Certain men are willing to go through the war. You possess something that a lot of men want to avoid, and that's power, precision, and boxing IQ. Do not waste your time waiting around for Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. If he is not going to fight you, if these injuries keep prolonging the fight with you, we do not need you to waste your career. We do not need you to waste your time. We need you to continue to grow and become that legend and become great. We've seen this happen to too many boxers. They sit around for that big fight that they really wanted, especially when it comes to unification and undisputed, only to be held out for really long past their career. Either way, do not waste your time. Either go ahead and just knock off the likes of Badu Jack, unify that, take on something else and drop the belts and move on to heavyweight, or just go ahead and go straight to heavyweight, because I believe you possess that type of skill set, that type of power, that type of IQ to mess with them big boys. Look what Usyk has done. He's laid the groundwork to show you that that thing is still real. Evander Holyfield showed you that thing is real. He did it in the past, right? From the 90s up to the early 2000s. Usyk, current example of how a cruiserweight is built perfectly for the heavyweight. As long as you got the skill set, IQ, and movement, you can outbox and outpunch and really maneuver around the slower moving heavyweights. Go ahead and let's go ahead and be great. But anyways, we talk way too long on this, and maybe we are being too pessimistic and overly conservative and maybe a conspiracy theorist. But that's our opinion. I don't want no excuses. I don't want no ducking. I don't want no hiding. I don't want no movement. But we've been watching boxing long enough to see this move before, and I just have to question it. Where do we go now? This fight needs to happen one way or another. Let's get it done. Let's not waste our time, man. It's your boy, Cash Rub Sane Podcast. Man, hit that like button, comment below, and as always, subscribe if you got the time. We appreciate that love. Until the next time. Peace.